Hello again, Steve here with a few comments to the question, why am I going on such a long walk? Well, as some of you who've watched some of my videos over the last few months, you will see that I have alluded to or talked about my bug out bag and also have seen me out on trails walking. This is part of what I'm talking about. This has been part of my training for what I'm going to call an epic walk. I'm going to be going for months likely, so long as my body holds out. That is to say, in early March, probably around the 5th or 6th of March, I'm going to be going out to the west coast of North America to a place they call Vancouver Island. The southern tip of that, there's a place within the city they call Victoria, and there's a point at the south of Victoria called Clover Point. And I'm going to be going down there because I spent many years, very pleasant years, when I was younger out there. A place I really love and a place that's somewhat familiar. So I want to do the ceremonial dipping my toe in the Pacific waters in the Strait of Juan de Fuca, or Juan de Fuca as they call it there. And then I will be hiking eastward generally from that point northward to the ferry and then crossing the Strait of Georgia and then onward. And I'm going to be hiking as far as I can, or until I reach Cape Spear, which is the most easterly point on North America, in a place they call St. John's, Newfoundland, or whatever comes first. So you might ask, why would I do such a thing? It's approximately 8,000 kilometers and a few pairs of shoes, I'm told. Well, there's probably many reasons that I could break it down on, but there's at least three critical ones. The first one is it's like a sabbatical for me. I've spent 20 some odd years as a family man raising kids, and I feel that my kids are beyond those formative years by now. And I'm going to take some time off from that. So that's one. The next one is I've just always liked doing crazy things, you know. And if this ranks as crazy, well, hey. No, I've wanted to do this for a while. This is not whimsical at all. This has been years in the planning, actually. I can remember the day that I envisioned doing this. I've always wanted to do something like this. Oh, it's altered a little bit in its form, and of course, what I plan to do will obviously not be, as it turns out, as nothing ever is. But no, I've always wanted to do something like this. I like a big challenge. I've had a few challenges, and I'm told this is quite a challenge. So I want to take it on. Now, those are the main reasons, really. I'm just for myself, right? But it's sometimes great to, because that's hard to really say to somebody, I'm just doing it because I wanted to, sabbatical. But everybody says, what's your cause? What's your cause, right? And that is basically, do I need much more of a cause than that? Well, while I'm at it, I might as well make use of the opportunity to fly some flag, right? So the message I want to bring is freedom. And I think it's appropriate because walking to me is kind of an expression of freedom, right? It's like the freedom of mobility. If you can walk somewhere, whether you've exercised your free will to walk over there, unless of course you're sleepwalking, but generally speaking, people are awake when they're walking. It's an expression of freedom. I'm here and now I'm going to walk over there. And it's a great connection with others, because when you fly over or you drive over from place to place, you pass by so much and so many people. But in walking, there's a greater sense of connection with the land, the people, the communities, and so on. And that, to me, is an expression of freedom as well, to be able to connect with more people. And also, too, I think it's very important to fly the flag of freedom frequently, because while I'm of the mind, and I certainly see lots of evidence of this, that humanity has been on a trajectory of ever-increasing freedoms throughout history, from, abject, um, abject or subjection to the elements that they have no control over, which we do now. We have finely tuned climate change dwellings. Like we change the climate for us to live anywhere in the world in our little houses, right? At one time, people couldn't do that. They were very much more subject, just like animals, subject to the weather. So they didn't have that freedom of being able to control that. But also the way we interact. I mean, it wasn't long ago when slavery was mainstream, and the segregation of people based on sex and class and race and all that. Like, it was just completely overt, right? And a lot of that has gone away, but nevertheless, in our trajectory of ever improving freedoms, we have sort of ups and our downs, just like, and nothing goes in straight lines, right? And I feel that right now we're kind of on an ebb, quite an ebb, especially with the almost seemingly total acceptance of the barbarity of socialism, right? Of collectivism, of forcing people to do stuff that they haven't chosen to or agreed to. And I think it's important every once in a while for some people to stand up and say, hang on a second here, are we really on the right path? I don't want to preach to anybody saying this is what we should do. It's like, hey, let's have a conversation. I basically do something wherever I happen to live over the last few years. I've lived in a few different places. I do this thing called coffee chat, which is just getting together with people and sharing ideas that help to improve the quality of our life experience. And I really feel strongly that freedom is one of those ideas that helps to improve the quality of our life experience. And I've talked to many people who are really on an opposite wavelength in terms of their concept of freedom. But you know what? That's fine as long as we can have a civil, relaxed, open-minded discussion. See, it doesn't matter that we have to all agree. In fact, we all agree to be very, very boring life in a way, right? But I think it's important that we care. We care that we're improving. We care that we can have freedom and others can have freedom. So I think it's an important discussion to have, and I want to continue this tradition that I've come to know for myself anyways, this coffee chat. I don't even drink coffee, by the way, but the name came up by somebody who came to the groups once for a while. I like to have a tea though, so and I'll have coffee once in a while too, and a beer once in a while, whatever. But to sit down, the idea of a coffee chat is to sit down in a relaxed way, right? So we don't have to fight each other. We can be relaxed, we can be friends, and we can share ideas on improving the quality of our life. What is it that we can do better for ourselves and our communities and our children, our relationships, our health, and so on? An overall wellness, if you will, for ourselves and our communities and our families and so on. What can we do? Quality of life. This is the message I want to bring and discuss and chat and walk with people and talk with people anywhere I can on my journey from the West Coast all the way to the East Coast, unless, limbs blow out or something like that. So, hope to see you on the road. I will be talking more and more about this. Is the first video I've done announcing this. It's getting close to the new year, and I'm just a few months away from that eventuality. But I will definitely be sharing more, and of course, once I'm on the road, I will be sharing lots. I will be talking more and giving a daily thought, shall we say, and of course, writing lots and posting that somewhere when I get a chance. So, that, I hope, those 3 points, I hope answers the question, why am I going for a big walk? Well, once again, there was the sabbatical part of it. I want to take a break after many, many years of family life. And I've always wanted to do this. Well, not always, but for a long time I've wanted to do this. This is not a last-minute whim. And of course, I hold freedom, that quality we call freedom, very, very high. And to me, walking is a representation of that, and I hope to engage many people in discussion anywhere I can through that simple approach of what I call coffee chat, to promote that concept and to get ideas from other people about freedom and to share my own ideas about freedom. Steve here again. Great chatting. Talk again soon. Bye for now.